Running a marketing agency is hard as hell. And over the course of 9 years of running a global top 1,000 agency, I made thousands of mistakes. You learn really quickly, or for me, not so quickly, that it's not about how much you earn per month. It's about the skills you can build along the way to be able to maximize your earning power for the long term and make sales effortless. But I didn't know any of that when I got started. When we bootstrapped from $0 to $1 million a year, I actually ended up burning out twice in that year. And it's because of these 6 skills having not been fully formed and learned yet that I burnt out. After that burnout, the second one in the same year, I learned a ton of these skills that I'm going to share with you today and employed them daily. And what happened was, not only did I reduce my working hours by 70 hours down to 8 hours per week, but actually we doubled our revenue in the course of about 12 to 14 months. Let me be clear. If you are trying to get to 200K per month, you're trying to get to multiple 7 figures a year for your agency, killing yourself in the process is not going to be the way to do it. It's actually more elite to say no more than you say yes, to actually earn a little bit less but have total time freedom, to remain lean and agile instead of bloated, and be confident instead of fearful in your day-to-day, right? So these 6 skills helped me with all of that. We stayed lean, I was able to say no more often, and I was totally confident. And of course, owning my time, getting it down to 8 hours a week from 70, which sounds insane, but is exactly what happened. So if you are watching this video now and you're wondering who the hell am I and why you should listen to me, my name is Colby Wechter. I've been in digital marketing for 12 years, 9 of which as an owner of that global top 1,000 agency, like I mentioned. But I also had those burnouts. And so from years 0 to 7, bootstrapping an agency and getting it to 7 figures, I made all the mistakes in the book, burnt out really, really badly, and had to make drastic changes that seemed odd at the time, but paid massive dividends. So through my journey and having worked one-on-one with several agency owners at this point, I am now on a mission to help 6-figure agency owners get to 7 figures working 30 hours per week. And if that sounds like something you're interested in, or you need more information on how to retain clients, own your time, and actually enjoy your agency again, drop a like and subscribe to this channel, and I would love to have you watch more of my content to help you get there for your agency. But let's actually dive into what these 6 skills are. The first one is, no surprise, it's owning your time. I want to make something abundantly clear to you. If you own your agency and you don't feel like you own your time, that is no one else's fault but you. You can say it's the clients, you can say it's your employees, you can say it's you need to hustle right now so you can get to this perceived destination. You will never have a destination that ever feels good. When I was starting from nothing and I grew up poor, all I ever wanted to do was make a 6-figure salary on not even something I built. I just wanted to make a 6-figure salary. And I got there for my agency. But it was also the same year I burnt out twice. That 6 figures felt like nothing because the rest of my life was a total shambles. Now, the best way to own your time, and the way I did it, was get complete control over my calendar and then make sure that I could actually off-ramp every single item that didn't bring me joy or move the needle, right? And I actually created a workshop on this, 45 minutes long. I'll link it down in the description of the video so you can watch that, so you can start buying back 90 minutes per day at a minimum the moment you start employing these methods. So owning your time is huge. If you have a calendar that makes you feel gross, if you feel like you're answering notifications all the time, you do not have to do that. Create constraints and boundaries in your business, and you'll actually not see opportunity dip. You'll see it go up, because 1 hour of deep work, 1 hour of focus is better than 8 hours of distracted work or 8 hours of high stress. The second skill that I'm just kind of amazed other agency owners don't really use that often is being proactive. So many agency owners I've talked to in the last couple of years, over 100, they are running their agency in a reactive state. They're waiting for something to go wrong, which means they're in kind of this pessimistic state as well. What email am I going to get from a client today? What's going to break today? What is my employee going to do that's weird, right? And then I'm going to have to handle that. These are terrible places to run a business from and just to wake up to every day. but we're in control of these as well. If you are proactive with your clients, one of the easiest things to do, not only with your clients, but with your employees as well, is actually tell them ahead of time what you expect of them. So many agency owners are just worried about offending or not sounding impressive enough. Clients and employees both crave clarity. Before you started your agency, you were an employee, right? Did you care about the benefits and the vacation more than if you had clarity on what you were meant to do every single day? I bet vacation benefits meant nothing to you if you had mental warfare going on in your day-to-day, or your boss was going to say something passive-aggressive, or if your clients would yell at you on the regular. Clarity is what you're after first. Everything else comes after clarity. By being proactive and telling people exactly what they should expect, you're going to save yourself so much mental heartache, and it's going to give you a ton of actual just a lightening of the load for you. Skill number 3 that was really tough for me, and I know is incredibly tough for the majority of people I talk to, is delegating before you're ready. And I equate this to when I proposed to my wife. We had been together for 7 years. We were still young. I was only 23 at the time, and I just didn't feel ready whatsoever. But then it was actually my mom told me, she said, "You're never ready for any of it. We were never ready to get married. We were never ready to have kids. And look how that's worked out." I had no money at the time. I used a tax return as the down payment on the ring, and I wasn't ready. But it's the best decision I've ever made. You are never going to be ready in your agency. You're never going to be ready to delegate to a green employee. You're never going to be ready to give up control. You're never going to be ready to feel good. But if you do not delegate, you will never feel good. It is a backward step every time you grow, because it means more work for you, which is more stress. You need to let go of that work, and you need to do it as soon as possible. The mission is not prevent my employees from failing or my VAs from failing. The mission is, how can I get them to fail as quickly as possible, make sure that we can fix and iterate on what that failure is, so that the next time they fail, it's better. And then if they fail enough times, they stop failing. That is the mission. Skill number 4 is spending 80% of your time on clients, not chasing new business. And typically the reverse is true. Everyone is chasing new business because they want to fill the pipeline with leads. They want to get more sales in the door, and they don't realize that they're signing up for 10 times harder work, right? Chasing prospects, chasing poor fits, saying yes to people you know are not going to be a good fit just because they're willing to pay you is a one-way ticket to misery and client churn anyway. They're going to leave, and you're going to have a terrible experience the whole time. Whereas if you invest 80% of your time in your existing clients, you will actually be doubling down on people who have already said yes to you. They said yes to you, they're a perfect fit. What else can you do for them? So the ways to do this is just make it crystal clear what results you're getting. Again, know exactly what you're doing and tell them exactly what to expect, so that they never can come to you later and say, we're not seeing results. They'll know exactly what result you're driving, but they're going to have more than one problem. You solved the first problem, whichever it is they hired you for. Ask them what the next problem is. And when you solve that one, ask them what the next problem is, and get paid every time. No more freebies if you are delivering high value. So I like to just employ active listening. And actually I have a whole model on this. It'll be a separate video on what I call beta offers using active listening. But it is a way that you can actually get the client to pay you more before you do any work, simply because you asked, what else do you need solved? So 80% of your time on clients is only going to keep them for longer, which increases lifetime value, and have them pay you more, which increases lifetime value. And it's low pressure sales because they've already said yes to you. They know, like, and trust you. That's how you build an agency to $200K per month without hating it. Number 5 is you should be taking massive risk for your agency. If you are in the business of, I want to create an agency because the margins are good, because I can choose my own hours, and then you realize that it's pretty much you just traded one boss wherever you came from, the corporate world or whatever, to have several, you're doing it wrong. So you need to be taking massive risks to try and continue to improve the business. And I recommend 20% of every dollar that comes in the door should be going to experiments. So you should be operating your agency on an 80% threshold. That's for salaries, that is for the tools and all the other overhead expenses, but the 20% should be going to experimentation, because otherwise you'll just be stuck doing the same thing over and over and over again. And now you are competing with other agencies, whether they're actually pronounced, prominent, or if it's some guy in his basement. You need to get past that. You need to be leading from the front. And the way you do that is by taking more risk than anybody else. And finally, number 6, it's going to sound like doubling down on proactivity, and it is. It's be clear. It took me so long to realize, especially with employees, that employees do not care what they want to hear. They just want to know what's expected of them. And I'm not talking just tell them in a random meeting. I'm not saying, hey, go do this thing without having context on why. Employees hate that, just like you hated that when you were an employee. You need to be clear by giving them not only crystal clear language, don't use highbrow, don't be confusing, don't talk in circles, take your ego out of it, but also it needs to be in writing. And I've had so many employers in my career who were afraid of putting anything in writing because what if I don't deliver? Then make it clear that this is abstract, that this is a goal, not an assurance. Employees understand that, but just like you want things in writing, just like you want to be protected, make your employees feel protected. If you can do that, they will go above and beyond for you. So be clear, remove your ego, don't add cleverness to it, just make it really easy to follow. These 6 skills took us from working, for me, working 70 hours a week, making $1 million a year for the agency, to getting to $2.5 million a year 12 months later, working only 8 hours a week, because I was able to be proactive, delegate, take massive risk, and all these others. By doing so, we were able to grow with far less stress and personal investment in my time. If you don't even have control over your time, I highly recommend you check out that workshop down below where you can recover 90 minutes per day just by installing 3 simple methods that are so easy my 8-year-old niece could do it. And these methods are not only how I doubled our revenue at the agency in less time, but also how 3 other agency owners in the last 12 months were able to double their revenue in 120 days, all previously working over 50 hours a week, and then doing so, doubling that revenue in under 40 hours per week. I want to thank you again for your time watching this video. I hope that these skills help you in terms of building your own agency, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.